Hey everyone, and welcome back to Zero Escape 999, where things could not be going better. Everyone is alive, except for the ninth man, but we couldn't do much about that. Snake is alive somewhere on this ship. Clover is rejoicing because her brother is alive somewhere on this ship. If we can find him, we will have our digital root of 9. And we can get out of here. We're going to do this. Let's get off this ship. They stepped out of the captain's quarters and into another hallway. The hallway stretched out in front of Junpei for a bit before turning left like a great backward L. Junpei rounded the corner and took off down the straightaway. He ran, and ran, and ran. At the end of the hallway was a door. He made straight for it. He was nearly halfway to it when he noticed a piece of paper in the middle of the floor. What was a piece of paper doing in the middle of the hallway? Junpei skidded to a halt. He dropped down to his hands and knees and quickly tore the paper off the floor. Now that he had a chance to examine it more closely, it was clear that it was a map. More specifically, a map of the ship's interior for the A deck. What's wrong? Ace, slightly slower by virtue of his advanced age, had finally caught up to Junpei. Junpei said nothing, simply showed Ace what he had found. He looked at it long enough to determine what it was and nodded. I see. With that, he began running again past Junpei. Junpei shoved the map into his pocket and got up to follow Ace. But something stopped him. Hey, where's Clover? Where is she? She should be ecstatic. Her brother's alive. He turned around. Clover was nowhere to be seen. Should probably go back and check on her. Damn it, what the hell is she up to? Junpei muttered angrily under his breath and took off back the way he'd came. As he stomped around the corner, he saw her. She was standing in front of the door to the captain's quarters, her hand on the doorknob. As Junpei watched, she closed it gently and quietly. What the hell are you doing? Nothing? What do you mean, nothing? Clover had unconsciously put her hands over the pockets of her jacket as if trying to hide something. Clover, come on, you trust me. I thought you trusted me. What's going on? What the hell is that? What? You got something in your pocket. What is it? Oh, this? This is... a note. A note? Yeah, I found it in the pocket of the guy with the captain's clothes. It said something about the darkness of the sinister hand or something. Really? Can I read that? What the hell? Let me see it. But Junpei wasn't going to get to see it. From the other end of the hall, he heard Ace's voice. Hey, Junpei! Clover! What are you two doing? Hurry up! Clover shrugged. I'll show it to you later, alright? Come on, we gotta hurry. True, we are about to get off this ship. Let's go. We can look at the note later. Before Junpei could protest, she was gone. Around the corner and off down the long stem of the L. A note? A note. Junpei was curious, but there was something else that bothered him. Her pocket had been bulging far more than it would from just a note. Junpei did his best to convince himself that it would make sense later and ran off after Clover. Junpei pushed through the door and found himself in a large room with a large set of stairs. It was just what he'd expected to see after reading the map. His "I see" after reading the map himself meant that Ace had probably realized the same thing. Junpei looked around, but Ace was nowhere to be seen. He put his hand on the handrail and leaned over to look down. There he was. And not just Ace, Santa, June, Seven, and Lotus as well. Junpei and Clover glanced at each other and hurried down the stairs. They reached B deck at the same time. Junpei! Clover! June's face was excited. Something had happened, that much Junpei could tell by simply looking at her. What's up? Given their situation, he was not inclined to be excited about sudden developments. June, however, couldn't contain herself. We found it! Found what? We found it! What did you find? The last door! We found door 9! What?
Come on, just follow us. We'll explain on the way.
Okay, let's go. Seven turned and jogged off down the stairs. The rest followed. We finally made it. The relief and excitement in her voice echoed what each one of them felt. Yeah, it's finally time. Junpei wasn't quite ready to believe they'd really done it, at least not just yet. Still, if everyone said that it was door 9, then it probably was. He could feel his heart racing. A mixture of anticipation and fear ran through his veins, and he could feel his legs shaking. He was doing his best to maintain a sense of healthy skepticism, but he couldn't deny that the prospect of escape was an exciting one. But there was one thing he could not get off his mind. The numbered door could only accommodate between 3 and 5 people. There were 7 of them on their way to door 9. That meant that even in the best case scenario, there would be 2 of them who would have to stay behind. 2 people. He didn't have any solutions to that problem yet, but he was desperately hoping one would present itself. Junpei looked over at the clock. The hands indicated that it was 4:30. They had 90 minutes before their time was up. Hey, Junpei! June! What the hell are you two doing? Hurry it up! Santa's voice jolted Junpei out of his reverie. Also, Clover's not stopping us. She has nothing to look for. Well, rather, she has no reason to lure Santa and Seven to their deaths. Hopefully we will find Snake. God, I keep getting them confused. I don't know why. Just, they have the same starting sound. Same letter, I guess, makes them the same person. But, oh my god, wherever Snake is, I hope we find him. We're so close. Let's go, Junpei. June took off down the stairs, jogging as quickly as she could. Junpei followed. As a group, they piled onto the elevator and rode impatiently down to E-Deck. It looked familiar. There was a metal grate between the 2 elevators. Seven grabbed hold of it and began to talk.
I know I told you I'd explain it earlier, but honestly there ain't much to explain. After we split off from you guys, the 4 of us got onto the elevator on the left, and that took us to the other side of the grate. After that...
They'd headed down another hallway, and it took them toward the bow of the ship and eventually to the number 6 that Junpei and June had found earlier. With 4, they'd been able to open the door and keep going. As usual, they'd face a locked door, but had been forced to complete 2 different areas before they could unlock it. Once they were through that door, there was another hallway that went in the other direction toward the stern. So on your way, you found the elevator.
That's right.
So in other words, you kind of did a lap, huh? You came from that side to this side.
Yeah.
With that settled, Junpei looked around. So where's the number 9 door?
Over here. Follow me.
Seven began walking down the hallway that led toward the stern. Junpei and the others broke into a jog to keep up with him. They'd been walking for a while, June in silent step with Junpei when she spoke. You know, it's because of Santa that we're all here right now. Huh? That all 7 of us are going to door 9. Huh? You don't get it? Santa, 7, and Lotus. What's their digital roots? 3 plus 7 plus 8 is 18. 1 and 8 is 9. 9. It's 9. That's right. They could have just left me behind and kept going if they wanted to. But they didn't. Yeah, because Santa wouldn't let them. He said, we can't leave June behind. That's why we went looking for you guys. Well, that was sweet of him. And then you got on the elevator and went back to the central staircase. It's good to see that it doesn't take Junpei. Everyone is looking out for each other. No one is being overly selfish. That is so good to see. That's right. Well, I wouldn't have called that one. That Santa would be the one to stick up for you, I mean. Yeah, if anyone, I kind of expected it might have been 7. Junpei felt his eyebrows knit as he considered that. Oh, don't get me wrong. Perhaps June had sensed Junpei's concern. I don't mean that 7 and Lotus said they wanted to leave me behind. We were just talking about it and Santa objected to it first. Junpei was about to respond when 7 suddenly stopped. In front of them stood a door. So is this? Junpei couldn't see 7's face, but he could see him nod. There's no other place for us to go?
Nope. Just look around.
At the end of the hallway was a thick iron wall. To the left and right, other hallways led to the port and starboard sides of the ship, but they were both closed off by thick metal grates. It looked as though Seven was right. The door in front of them was their only choice.
Alright, let's get moving.
He pulled open the door and walked in. Junpei took a deep breath and followed. It appeared they'd been telling the truth. The first thing Junpei saw as he entered the room was the number. 9. Like all the others, it was a rough thing made of red paint. The door it decorated sat on the back wall of a rectangular room. Junpei ran up to it. Out of curiosity, have we been given the map for this floor? We do have the map. So everything to the left is burned, and that is also where the 9 door lets out. Junpei ran up to it. It was a large double door with powerful styling. Something about it was almost majestic, and it made the red paint look especially garish. Junpei grabbed the handle and shook. It didn't budge, but then he hadn't really expected it to. The red was bolted to the wall next to the door. Its display read, vacant. Finally, they'd arrived. Junpei felt a flood of emotion wash over him. He felt a chill down his back and his chest tightened even as his blood began to boil. He was about to speak when... Junpei, look behind you. He turned around. Junpei could scarcely believe what he saw. A door and a 9. There was another one. Hey, what the hell? What the hell is going on here? His words came slowly and his brain struggled to understand what he'd seen. On shaky legs, he made his way to the second 9. It was a small door set parallel to the door they'd come through, but in the other corner of the room. 9. There was no mistaking the number, and if any more proof was needed, a red was bolted to the wall near the door. He grabbed the handle and shook the door, not because he expected it to open, but because he had to make sure it was real. Why the hell are there 2 doors? It was Ace who spoke first. Do you think that perhaps one is the right door and the other is the wrong one? Lotus was skeptical. I don't know about that. That seems unlikely.
What makes you say so?
Well, think about all the rooms we've been through so far. They're full of puzzles, but there are always hints about how to solve them. I'm pretty sure there aren't any rooms where we just had to go with our best guess and leave it to instinct to solve the puzzle. Do you really think that at the very end of the game, Zero's gonna suddenly throw in something that depends entirely on luck?
Then you're saying there's some sort of hint in this room.
No, I don't think there's a hint anywhere in here. I searched it very well when I was in here before. I didn't find anything that might have been a hint, though.
Well then that means...
Yeah, both of these are the right door. I mean, if you think about it, Zero never actually said there was only one door with a 9 on it. The exit is hidden, but it is there. Seek the exit. Seek...
You are mistaken, Junpei.
I can see it very clearly in the text. As pixelated as it is. Seek a door that carries a 9. Junpei began to mutter to himself. So if there are 2 number 9 doors, if we split it up right, that's not gonna work. Junpei blinked and looked up at Clover. She held out her hand. You've got a notebook and a pen, right? Can I borrow them? Slightly confused, he pulled them out and handed them to her. Look at this! Clover opened the notebook to a blank page and set it down on the desk. Everyone else gathered around her and watched as she wrote down a series of numbers. Okay. No matter what, there's going to be a remaining digital root of 7. You get it? The numbers on the top are all the combinations with digital roots of 9. The numbers on the bottom are the people who don't fit. There's only 8 possibilities, so if we split into 2 groups of 3 or 4 people, so if 3 people go through the door, then 4 are left behind. If 4 go through, then 3 are left behind. Right? Clover nodded, almost as if she were pleased with herself for solving a difficult math problem. The room went very quiet. If we could just find Snake. If we knew where Snake was, we could all leave here. Silence lay across everyone like a thick, heavy blanket. No one spoke. Their faces were blank. Desperate for something else to look at, Junpei turned his eyes to the room around him. As he did, he began to wonder, what was it? The walls were covered with candles. The wavering flame made the shadows of Junpei and his companions look as though they were dancing. 2 rows of wooden pews filled most of the room. Between them was a strip of rich red carpet. The carpet ran straight through the room, ending at the door that pointed to the stern of the boat. At the other end of the carpet, an altar? It was a recessed space set into the wall between the 2 other doors. Sitting on a raised section of the altar was a coffin. A coffin. A coffin. A coffin. No, it couldn't possibly be. But if it wasn't, then whose body occupied it? That was as far as Junpei wanted to pursue that line of thought. He decided not to think about the coffin for the time being. At that moment, Seven spoke. There was an edge of humor to his voice, but it was forced.
Okay, I give up. I figured if we sat around here long enough, someone would volunteer, but I guess nobody's got the guts to do it.
Junpei didn't understand, and he wasn't the only one.
What? You guys didn't figure it out yet?
Oh, fine.
Let me enlighten you. Clover was mostly right with her little explanation earlier, but she missed something. She wasn't really wrong, she just... screw it. Let me just write it out.
Seven snatched up the notebook and began to write in it. Everyone else clustered around him, desperate for a look.
If you're trying to leave with a group of 3 and a group of 4 and get everybody out, Clover's right. But there's another way. Only one combination, though. If you split us up into groups of 3, 3, and 1, you can make this combination.
Wait, this means... Seven, are you offering to sacrifice yourself?
Don't get me wrong here. I'm not trying to copy Ace or anything like that. Even if he hadn't been the hero back in the big hospital room, I'd still be saying the same thing.
The same thing? Are you saying...
Yeah, I am. I'll stay behind.
I'm cutting this one a little bit short. But next time on Zero Escape 999... Seven has offered to let everyone else escape. Next time, we achieve our ending of Zero Escape 999. I'll see everyone next time for that.